some of their work and some of their requests as it relates to moving forward in the future. Who wants to start?
Hello, my name is Sealine. I'm the library director at the Johnston Public Library, and I'm co-chair of the Polk County Library Association with Jamie Nowak from Polk City Public Library. We're just here today to kind of have a conversation with you about support. There's about 13 libraries, and it's a very informal association. It's the directors getting together saying we want to make sure we serve the entire county, all of our residents, and do that. Most of the libraries are funded by our individual cities, and then there's the rural residents who don't live within cities that we are asking you for funding so that we can still provide services to them. The services include, the regular checkout, books, materials, our digital resources, provides the, what's the word I'm looking for? Programming, uses of the building. What we did, the home library thing. At the last time we renewed, we kind of reworked how rural libraries were served. Contract, we're asking for another 3-year contract at $700,000 each year, so staying the same each year. Historically, the contract went up $50,000 each year until this last services, as there's rising costs to books, to resources, and things like that.
That makes sense. So, so that I'm clear, as I understand it, because of the open access for libraries, any resident can receive services at any of the 13 libraries under the open access. Is that correct?
Through open access, if your community has a library or contracts for library services, then you can actually get a library card at any of the libraries in the state of Iowa. Okay. So if I I spent a lot of time up in Cedar Falls. Because I live in Ankeny, I can get a library card in Cedar Falls. What we're trying to do is be able to provide that service to rural residents who don't have a city that they live in, but because they are, if this contract, how you fund it, their city would be basically how that home library works, so then they can get resources at any library in the state of Iowa.
Okay, so if I live in an area of Polk County that doesn't have a library, then without this contract, I wouldn't have access to a library.
As far as
Wow.
Correct.
Wow, okay. Well, this is important then.
It's very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to serve the entire Polk County. I mean, we want to serve everybody. That's
Sure.
what libraries want to do.
Sure.
And what is the number of rural residents?
Anybody know?
It's about 26,000 or so.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because it works out to be about, the current contract works out to be about $22 we spend per rural resident. The city costs generally,
They average anywhere between $34 per capita to $90 per capita, and depending on what city you're doing. So we are not even asking to match what cities are inputting for their residents, but we are asking for what we believe is a reasonable amount.
so it would be an increase of about, from $22 to about $24 per resident under the 7. And I know we kind of went through some of this at our library dinner, but it was interesting to hear a couple things. Is just the heavy usage of libraries right now, and two, how technology has changed the way people think about libraries and Kindles and checking out books virtually.
Yeah, absolutely. Libraries, people are using them not only to check out physical materials that they come into our building, they are high usage in our digital materials, our e-books, our e-audios, our e-videos that they put on their individual devices, whether it's a Kindle, a Nook, or as I lovingly carry around my life on my cell phone. I am a frequent e-audio reader as I commute back and forth between Ankeny and Johnston. We also have people in Johnston where we do help appointments. So if somebody has to apply for a job or has to fill out forms for Polk County, they will come into the library, and we have librarians that they can set up appointments with, and we will help them understand what they're filling out. We won't do the work for them, but we will help them walk through it, learn how to use the technology. We have notaries in our libraries that when they need a notary, I think Jamie has Passport.
Passport acceptance facility?
Jamie, the Polk City is a Passport. But then we also have spaces, places where people can come and meet with somebody to do a job interview. We have spaces where people can come and get tutoring for their child, or can just have an interview for a new job. Lots of different ways, or just to connect with a friend for a little bit because they're just kind of passing in the night. They can meet at the library and just talk for a little bit. So libraries serve everyone in whatever capacity they are needing. We are trying to be there for them.
How about technology? Are all of our outfitted with technology, or are there still libraries that are lacking in some of the, like, I'm thinking computer usage and access to printers and other things that most people don't have in their homes?
Yep, I think it varies by community, depending on how much is invested in the libraries. Jamie, would you like to answer that one a little bit better?
Talk a little bit about that. I think all of the libraries in Polk County absolutely provide that computer access in town because everybody's calling for a hotspot. Like I said, we are used to them. They get used a lot during Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all summer long. Families are using those hotspots when they're headed to the grandparents. And then, like I said, when the internet is out, then they're coming to get one. Other times, I said Polk City has a little bit different demographic. I would say the majority of the people in Polk City have internet at home, but when they're traveling, they like to take those hotspots. We also provide 24/7 Wi-Fi. So even if you're not at the library when it's open, you can still access our Wi-Fi if you need to get something done after hours. But unfortunately, you still have to print your barcode a lot of times for a lot of people when they're sending something back to Amazon. There are days that I feel like we are more of a, I don't know if they even exist anymore, Kinko's Copy Center at the library, because when we have Wi-Fi printers, so people can just even print straight from their phone to our printers, which is really nice. But we do a lot of printing because the cost of ink on home printers is astronomical. If you don't print a lot, it dries out and you have just wasted that. So people are in the library all the time. I said between copies, faxes, notaries, passports, we're busy up.
The library has a 3D printer, and I'm sure a lot of other
Correct.
libraries are moving into that, where it's just not the ink, but projects, makers marks, all of that, collaboration areas for meetings, students, group projects and all that, so valuable resource. All those new rooms, so far tradition from what most of us grew up into, a library or was books and maybe an occasional internet, so.
That's exactly right. I think when we were talking about, our wants and our needs and things, we started, we're talking about, everything libraries do except books. Everybody expects us to do books. They come in and they are surprised then to find out that they can have a pass to the Blank Park Zoo. Through the Iowa Adventure Pass, Iowa libraries are allowed to buy into the Adventure Pass program. Our friends of the library buy the passes, and then people can check those out once a year. They can it's for a family of 4, so 2 adults, 2 kids. You can get a pass, you can go to the zoo once a year, you can go to the science center once a year.
Wow.
We have Ryman Garden at our library, because each library is different everybody has the same pool of options available, but for my friends of the library, they determine which passes they're going to buy. So we have passes to the Des Moines Children's Museum, Ryman Gardens, the Des Moines Botanical Gardens, the Science Center, and Blank Park Zoo. So that's 5 places families can go at no cost each year just by having a library card. Now, those are available to, so at my library, they are available to Polk City residents, and they are available to rural residents in the 3 townships where Polk City is their home library. So for us, that is Union, Madison, and Lincoln Township. If you live in Crocker Township, which is an issue because Crocker Township, between Polk City and Ankeny, they all have a Polk City address, but their home library is Ankeny. So if they want to use the Adventure Pass, they have to check that out through the Ankeny Library. Same thing with their ebooks and their audiobooks. Those have to be checked out through the Ankeny Library, as well as mobile hotspots. So books, so with the open access program, Polk City is in kind of a unique, where we're located. We get a lot of people from Granger and different places. They can still have a library card. They can check out any book or magazine in our library, but they cannot use our hotspots, or they cannot check out our hotspots, our adventure passes, or our ebook, audiobook. They have to do those through their home library.
Above and beyond services.
$1 a page for color. There are things like that just for the consumables that are used. But no, there's no, you cannot come in and pay to use a hotspot.
There are a few libraries, I think, that do, 5 pages free for everybody as their starting point, and then it's after that, which usually meets some of the needs. Johnston, it is the 15, I think ours is 15 cents, black and white, 25 cents per color. We don't charge for faxing. So each library, we still serve our communities and what works for each of our libraries. And then we also gather for all Polk County residents.
Summer reading programs, are you doing summer reading programs? I know we had more than 10,000 residents of Des Moines participate this summer in the summer reading program, which I've supported for a long time. Is that happening in all the libraries?
I believe so, yeah. That's one of our biggest programs.
And that's a requirement for state accreditation.
Okay.
The first committee I was assigned to in City Council was the Library Board. And back in 2006, we were seeing that transition from books to kind of a business center. And I looked at this as libraries as being like an equalizer to the community and allowing people that access. And even things, in fact, one of my council members and I went back and forth, but our library at the time had American Girl dolls that you could check out. And the idea is that not everyone could afford one, but then they could take them home and love them.
About some kind of stuff beyond what brings the community in and more of a community gathering place.
Yep. So for the programming, we have, as Jill mentioned, our story times and early literacy, who are stay-at-home moms, and they just need a friend, but now they have their kids who can come to these story times together, or these programs. Then we kind of, we age up into the school age and kind of build on that, not only literacy, but the creative, just different opportunities to learn. But we don't want to just do little kids and school age. We move into our teen librarians. One thing I think is awesome is we had 41 teens crammed into one little year as they do video games together or do a craft together, all in the same room, and just seeing how they interact. And then we kind of move up into the adults, and we have adult programming where we know adults, they like to learn and they also like to decompress and things like that. So I know Ankeny has done the puzzle competitions where it's just a night out of fun of who can put the puzzle together the fastest. They've had some of those learning presentations. Molly would know a little bit more about what Ankeny's done in the, not just book clubs, but learning opportunities. Johnston, we've brought in, I think a Women in Money. So just kind of talking about how, as a woman, how you can kind of manage your money and things like that. We've also brought in some retirement universities. So as people start aging up and start looking at retirement and they don't know where to go, they have educational opportunities at the library to oh, okay, this is what I need to think about. These are the people I need, maybe I need to talk to this person or this person, this person. It's not selling those businesses, it's education. So we really try to do something for everybody from the time they're born to retirement.
That's great. And I guess from the standpoint of the reference desk calling for help, I've been known to call the reference desk when I need an obscure piece of information. You're still getting those calls.
Oh, we're absolutely getting reference calls, and we love it. We have a couple of our staff members that's their shining glory is, ooh, let me dig into this and find out this information. So we absolutely do get reference calls and take those, trying to help everybody. That's really.
Under the Iowa code, there's a section of the code, 256.69, which lays out the statutory obligations for funding rural libraries, and that's part of our responsibility. The contract that exists today is $650, and that is for, put into effect for 23-24, so it would renew in August of 2026. And your request is to go from $650 to $700,000. So
We will always take.
and sharing about your important work, and thank you for all you do to serve the needs of people in Polk County. I think we all support libraries, and I think we'll have a good message for you coming out of this. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
I think that concludes. We have opportunity to, I think, draft a resolution, and we'll wanna do that for sometime here in the near future. But as I said, it doesn't expire until August of 26, so they're way ahead of the game. So. Okay. Okay, very good. Well, thank you. Thanks for being here.